South African President Ramaphosa in a tense Oval Office meeting. The heavily trailed Oval Office meeting between South Africa's president and Trump started well and very quickly went off the rails when Trump started playing videos and repeated discredited claims that there is a white genocide occurring in South Africa. Tyrone Bowman live. According to NPR, National Public Radio, coming out of Johannesburg, South Africa, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa walked into an ambush when he met President Trump in the Oval Office on Wednesday. After a cordial beginning where Ramaphosa was at pains to stress his desire to improve relations with the U.S., things turned hostile. Trump repeated his false claims of a, quote, white genocide, end quote, in South Africa, and then ordered the lights dimmed to play videos he said supported his allegation, end quote. Ramaphosa attempted to correct the U.S. leader, but mostly got talked over. He explained the videos of opposition political Julius Malema, signaling an apartheid-era struggle song called, quote, Kill the Boer, end quote, which means Afrikaner, did not represent government policy. In fact, Malema is a populist who was expelled from Ramaphosa's African National Congress. His Economic Freedom Fighters Party won just 7% of the vote at national elections last year. Ramaphosa's Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, who is white, also tried to explain the facts for Trump, as did South Africa's richest man and a friend of Ramaphosa's, Johan Rupert, who was also white. It was exactly what South Africans had been dreading, especially after Trump televised hostility towards Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office earlier this year made headlines around the world. The U.S. administration has repeatedly slammed Pretoria for what it falsely claims is the systematic persecution of white African farmers, and the South African side has repeatedly tried to correct Washington to no avail. Well, how about this? What about the racism and bigotry that's going on here in America? The KKK, the Proud Boys, the White Boys, and any other boys that they have constantly trying to intimidate, threaten, harass black people. There are no other people in America that are being harassed, intimidated, and threatened as black people, who we are descendants of Africa. Whether you all like it or not, whether you all want to hear it or not, America is still a predominantly racist, white supremacist nation. When Barack Obama became president, there was a majority of white folk who hated him simply because he was African descent. There were no scandals during his administration. He did everything by the book. For 8 years, he led this nation out of the dark, hideous moments and times that it was in. But did he get any credit? No. But they want to call this president America's greatest president. So South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, he was ambushed. Whether you all in the comments section like it or not, a fact is a fact. The list of Trump's administration's grievances with South Africa or any diplomat's nightmare. Trump cut aid to the country in February. His top officials have snubbed G20 events South Africa is hosting this year. The U.S. expelled South Africa's ambassador. The U.S. administration is also angry that Pretoria, a firm Palestinian ally, has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice in the Hague over the war in Gaza. Check this out. I am going to go back in time and I'm going to dig up the old videos of apartheid in South Africa. And I'm going to play them because I know you MAGA folk are going to be upset, but I'm going to do it anyway. And we're going to see who was being persecuted in South Africa. Yes, I'm going to go back in time when black people were being murdered and killed and lynched, shot down in the streets simply for standing up for their God-given rights in their own homeland. White people in South Africa were never discriminated against. There's no such thing as white genocide in South Africa. These farmers elected to come to America. And I did some research and I found out they are not poor. They're not the poverty stricken individuals that people have been led to believe by a propagandist media. Ramaphosa had wanted to use the meeting to set Trump straight regarding race relations in South Africa. Trump has repeated a right wing conspiracy theory that there is a white genocide happening in the country and his government's policies. Well, what is Ramaphosa supposed to do? Put all white people in the cabinet? Because the Trump administration has all white folk in it. They don't have any black people except that token brother over in HUD. Everybody else in the cabinet is white. That's a stipulated fact, whether you all like it or not. A fact is a fact. Can't erase history. That's why they hate the message of woke, because they think we're asleep. We're not asleep. We're very much aware of what's going on, and we're going to continue to be aware. So this is the question. Will Trump listen this time? Pretoria has to try because a vital free trade agreement hangs in the balance amid other economic concerns. And I agree, it's about the dollar. It's about the stabilization of an economy. People here in America are hurting. The taxation, call them tariffs, is nothing more than taxation. People are hurting. Jobs are being lost. Houses are being foreclosed on. I personally talked to several people this week and the impact that they're feeling. This is not a game and this is not a joke. This is real. Ramaphosa is a seasoned diplomat who played a pivotal role as one of the lead negotiators in the talks that ended apartheid and led to the historic election of Nelson Mandela as South Africa's first black president. Earlier this year, the South African leader tried to charm Trump by offering his fellow avid golfer a turn on the screen at the G20 summit in Johannesburg, South in November. Ramaphosa has even enlisted the help of two famous South African golfers, Ernie Els, who's known Trump, and Retief Goosen, and has brought them along to the Oval Office meeting. Despite his conciliatory nature, however, even Ramaphosa wasn't able to hide his frustration after the 59 white Afrikaans, South Africans who were granted refugee status by the Trump administration, arrived in the U.S. last week. Ramaphosa said, given that there is no persecution of the minority group, the Afrikaners who left for the U.S. were simply white people who didn't want to live under black majority rule, and that is a stipulated fact. And even though many jobs, if a black person is in charge as a manager or a supervisor, you get nothing but grievances and complaints from some people. Quote, we're the only country on the continent where the colonizers came to stay, and we have never driven them out of our country, he pointed out after Trump repeated a right-wing conspiracy theory that there is a genocide of whites happening in South Africa. Both Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have accused the government of doing terrible things and expropriating white-owned land without compensation, something that has not happened. Really? Well, what about all the land that they took from black people over 40 years ago during apartheid? They weren't compensated. There were no reparations paid to them. And they're still suffering. They've been banished to the ghettos of Soweto, South Africa. And in South Africa, they have a whites-only town. So if they were concerned about, quote unquote, alleged white genocide, why didn't they just all move into the whites-only town? They have their own government, local and state. No black people are allowed in South Africa. This is not a game, ladies and gentlemen. People think that black people are just going to sit back and be picked on and picked on and picked on and picked on. And that we're just supposed to take it. There's no other group in America that's being picked on except black folk. No matter how educated we are, no matter how law-abiding we are, no matter how many rules we keep, no matter how much we pay in taxes, No matter how many times we try to get along with people, I'm not trying to get along with folk no more. I'm done with it. I'm not bowing down. I'm not scratching where I don't itch. I'm not laughing when I don't feel like laughing. I'm not tap dancing to their music. Trump's South African born advisor, Elon Musk, has also been highly critical of South Africa's government. He has slammed the country's affirmative action laws, which he says prevented his Starlink satellite company from entering the market. On Tuesday, reports suggested that Ramaphosa might offer the Tesla billionaire some kind of deal ahead of his White House meeting. That's so important. If he doesn't want you to do business there, he doesn't want you to do business there. All you do is condemn him and criticize him and talk about him. Africans need to take care of Africans. Diplomacy is one thing, stupidity is another. Keep telling you that's why I can't be a politician. Because I would be so unorthodox it wouldn't even be funny. I would never go by a script. Never. You disrespect me, you're going to get disrespected. You call me out of my name, I'm definitely going to call you out of yours. You curse my people, and I'm going to curse yours. Now, if we're going to make money together, let's make money. You don't have to like me, I don't have to like you. I don't want to live in your neighborhood. I don't even want to be around you. This is about making money. If we're going to make deals, let's make deals, but there's going to be civility and there's going to be respect for one another. I'll get on the case of my people. I know how to talk to black folk. I'm a black man. All the dumbness and the stupidity and all the stuff we do, and they have in the white race as well. I was watching a documentary about prison before I came into my makeshift studio today. And there were nothing but white people in that prison. And maybe one or two black people. So there's many white people in prison as there are black people in prison. And meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture John Steenhuisen, who is white and is part of the South African delegation, said he would be focusing on securing trade relations, preferential trade agreements, contribute significantly to our economy. Losing these benefits would be disastrous, quote, close quote. It's possible the South Africans will take a transitional tack at the meeting of the country is rich in minerals like planium, and Washington might see the benefit in countering China's interest in the country. Well, I'm quite sure that Trump and Ramaphosa will sit down and they'll come to the meeting of the minds. I'm confident of that fact. They will come to the meeting of the minds, civility will be restored, and they're going to work it out. The upcoming Washington meeting has been dominating South Africa's media, with local newspaper, the Sunday Times, running a headline over the weekend reading "Into the Mouth of Trump Hell." Quote, quote, quote. A sketch by acclaimed South African political cartoonist Saparo showed a nervous-looking Ramaphosa heading into the white supremacy house, close quote. On the streets of Johannesburg this week, NPR spoke to South Africans of all races who said they wish Ramaphosa well. Quote, absolutely no white genocide is happening, said 36-year-old white South African Giovanna Kovac. In fact, she said, the whole world is absolutely horrified by what's happening in America, from civil rights to women's rights. Asked what Ramaphosa should tell Trump, Saya Rilo, a 42-year-old black barista, was blunt, saying, quote, to stay away from South African affairs, end quote. Asked if he's concerned Ramaphosa could be given the same treatment as Zelensky, Rilo said, I hope it doesn't happen, and I know that Ramaphosa is a great strategist and he's got backbone. I believe he will earn Trump's respect, quote, close quote. Another golf goer, Ernest Motisi, a 29-year-old fashion designer, told NPR that Ramaphosa should try to find common ground with Trump if he could, but if not. We are very resilient people. Whatever backlash we'll get from the U.S., we will survive. End of the quote. There's always an opportunity to be able to sit down and get things done in this world. It depends upon if people want to work things out. But there has to be mutual respect all the way around. Okay, let me Look at some of the comments in the comment section here. I heard African kings started all this mess. And so, what what's the point? African kings and white racists started this mess. Deal with it, Blue Hornet. I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to please you. Remember that. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please black people. That's who I'm here to please. Never surrender. Never quit.